Tipp FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage, Puck On. Over half a century driving the people of Tipperary and surrounding areas with quality, reliable and economical vehicles, new and used. Call the sales team today to discuss your next car or van on 067 24111.
Thanks, Pat, and welcome back to the final hour of Tip Today. 1800 938 007, and the text and WhatsApp is 083 311 3300. I'm just looking at some of what's coming into us on text and WhatsApp today. And I think it kind of reflects the rainy, miserable day that's out there, because some people are very, very grumpy indeed. George is up there, Nina is grumpy and giving out, and Brian is giving out. Anyway, it's great to see it. Time now for a well-being slot that's going to cheer you all up, and I'm glad to be joined by Muriel Cuddy as usual. Good morning to you, Muriel.
Morning, Fran.
Good to see you today. We've been speaking about diabetes recently, and you brought a guest with you today. Will you tell me about our guest?
Did, and John is going to introduce himself in a minute. There are so many stories in life, and sometimes then an odd story that comes through me really resonates, that I feel people have to listen or people have to hear it. The more people that present to me lately with diabetes and cardiovascular, I think the more frightening it becomes in relation to how serious it is. And I think people don't actually realise how serious it is. But John's story was, I suppose, unusual, as in 67, John, aren't you? I'm right there, aren't I? 67. Yeah, John is 67. John only realised that he had type 2 diabetes, or what we would say is, well, you can't even classify it as pre-diabetic because he actually had diabetes. When he went to do his driving test to renew his lorry licence, he had to get a blood test.
Wow.
And it was the blood test that actually showed up that his numbers were what I would say sky high. Cholesterol numbers were also sky high. Triglycerides were at 6.1 or something. They should be down under 1.7. So the numbers were kind of scary. So I'm going to let John tell his story then.
All right,
Yeah,
John. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
And just to tell listeners, John, you're not overweight. I know that you go dancing, so you're a relatively fit guy as well. Was it a surprise to you to find out about this?
It was a surprise, it was. And I was advised by my doctor then to go on medication.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
did you have symptoms, by the way? Were you?
No, nothing.
Oh.
Just when I look back on it after, I was much stiffer than I am now, feeble and that. But it was a shock.
Yeah.
And I thought I was fine, that everything was grand.
Yeah. But you weren't. And what about your lifestyle and your diet and all of that? What was that like? I
thought my diet was good, but obviously I was to learn after that it wasn't, you know. And my lifestyle would be, I'd be quite active all the time, you know. And I do quite a bit of driving, and I have a fuel business, and I'd be doing a lot of deliveries, and I'd be, we'll say lifting and all of that.
Yeah.
And I'd be working 12 hours a day in a lot of the time. And I thought that was enough to keep me fit and that, but obviously it wasn't.
And you were put on medication by
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I had a choice that was recommended to go on medication, but I had a choice that if I could improve my diet and get down the sugar levels in my blood. But that's when
that's what you chose.
That's what I chose
to go down that road. And that's when you met Muriel,
That's when I met Muriel, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And what did she tell you when she looked at your lifestyle and your diet and all of that?
She said to me straight away, she said that this can be reversed, and put me on a certain plan. It was a kind of and after a very short time going into the plan, I was into it.
Yeah.
And I could after maybe 2-3 weeks I could feel an improvement.
Right.
Yeah.
And what sort of changes did you have to make?
On the eating plan, it was and a bit more walking. Which I did do a bit of walking on.
What I mean is, what were you eating that you had to look at that was not good for you and was not helping with the diabetes?
Mostly it was pork or pig related, and dairy.
Right.
They were the They were the two main things.
And had you a sweet tooth?
I had, a sweet tooth as well.
Yeah.
But I had to kind of curb the sweet tooth a bit.
Right.
Yeah. But and it's quite hard to curb the sweet tooth.
Don't I know? Don't I know? And would you have taken a drink as well?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, and I'll come back to you in a moment, John. But you know, as I say, John is not overweight. He was active. He wasn't a drinker. I don't know. Do you smoke, John?
No.
It's unusual, isn't it?
No, not unusual. No, and that's the scary thing, I suppose, that you can have these underlying conditions, and if you're not actually doing the checks, you're not going to know. And John hadn't had his blood taken for like whatever 2 or 3 years prior to that, so you're not going to know. Now, he had the symptoms, so the symptoms were there, like, and I was reading them out to him even before we came in, because people forget when they come into me their symptom checklist of how they are, like the giant stiffness, you know, the aches and pains or whatever, like feeling older than what you are. Like he said, he was weaker, he was waking at 3 o'clock in the morning and couldn't go back to sleep again. Like there was a list as long as your arm of things that the body was shouting to say, like, this is wrong, but you put it down to age. Like you said, like as far as you were concerned, John, at 67 these things should be happening, but like they shouldn't be happening. And now that we have reversed it, you can reverse type 2 diabetes only if you're not on medication and you do the lifestyle plan over the space of about maybe 2 years, and you're looking at the numbers coming down over the space of those 2 years. So we're in the middle of it. That's where we're at the minute. But the fact that John started feeling better nearly immediately meant that the foods we took away and what we had implemented was starting to work.
So what did you take? I'm kind of gathering from John, he had the mammy dinners, as I've been describing, the pork and the bacon and whatever. So what did you take away from?
He couldn't understand when he came in why the numbers weren't coming down, and why he didn't feel better, because he had made the changes that you would think were right. As in, it was porridge for breakfast, it was like sandwiches at lunchtime, and then it was like the mammy dinner or whatever. But when somebody comes in and you're presented with numbers as high as what his were with the HbA1c, and like John doesn't mind me saying his numbers were high. Sure you don't, John? No. The numbers were high and they frightened me, as in we need to work on this immediately. So there's no soft approach then. You have to literally go for it, as in if you're not going to go on medication, we have to keep you safe. So to keep you safe means we have to pull whatever will raise your blood sugars. So porridge in the morning isn't the right breakfast. You're going to have to go with like your eggs and avocado and good fats and that, you know. And
so porridge is not the right breakfast?
Not if you have, if your diabetic numbers are high, porridge is going to be a sugar. Okay, so if you have porridge with milk, then you have lactose in the milk. So then you have a sugar on sugar. Put honey on that, then straight away you're putting more sugar in. Then you put your fruit in. So you put a banana, which is what most people put on top. Then you have sugar on sugar on sugar. So like that's going to drive your blood sugars cracked before the day even starts. Whereas if you remove all the sugar and you start on a protein and high fat breakfast, you're not doing anything to your sugar levels.
So this would be what, your eggs?
Your eggs and your avocados and smoked salmon, or, you know, anything like that. Once it's protein and fat, that's what you're looking at. And like even things like your nice whole grain breads, they're fine because they're high fibre, you know. Now I did remove, as in I removed anything that was inflammatory, and the reason I removed anything that was inflammatory in John's world was because he had cholesterol as well. So his triglycerides and his LDL were high. So you're looking at a cardiac profile along with the diabetic profile.
So what else did you take out?
So, well, like you said, like pig went, dairy went. So they went immediately. And I even brought red meat back to like 1 day a week or whatever. We had to just clean everything out to see would it work immediately. And then you can actually start adding things back in if you can start getting the numbers down. But Fran, it was amazing. He started feeling better within the space of 10 days. But we retook his bloods within 6 weeks. His cholesterol, his triglycerides had dropped from over 6 down to 0.77. Normal.
Wow.
His LDL, the other side of his cholesterol, had dropped from 4.4 back down to 3.6. And his HbA1c, which is his diabetic sugar numbers, had come from 51 down to 48. So everything in the space of that 6 weeks, it just showed you that the lifestyle side had been driving it, and now the lifestyle side, as it was pulled back into line, he was healing. That was the biggest thing, he was healing. But what people don't realise, I suppose, and I'm going to say it again because it's really important to me, diabetes is a serious illness. So, you know, even if you're getting your numbers to a certain level, you have to really manage it behind the scenes through the prevention side. So the prevention side is do the exercise, the diet, the water, the sleep, the stress. If you don't do that, on the other side, your numbers will stay rising. So even if you are on medication, it will only control it to a certain level. And while the medication rises, your lifespan numbers will come down. So you do the preventative side, your lifestyle numbers will go up. So it's really important. So John has actually added numbers on.
So what was the hardest part of of the change of lifestyle for you, John? Well, just come a little closer to that for me. What was the hardest part of it all for you?
I suppose the pork was one of the things.
You really liked it?
I did really like it. And all over the years, we would have ate a lot of pork.
Yeah.
And that was one. And dairy as well. Yeah. But in a very short time, you'd get used to that. Yeah, you know.
And what did you replace it with then? What did you have for dinner instead of the pork and the bacon?
Mostly fish now.
Yeah.
Yeah, fish and chicken.
Right.
Yeah, which are very easy to get ready.
Yeah, the only thing with fish and me, I know I'm hungry again in a short time. Did you find that? Did you
in the beginning,
right?
But,
okay.
But once you get used to it, no, it can be very filling. And
Muriel was saying within 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks, you began to see a difference, did you?
Oh yeah, actually, you would notice it at even after the 2 weeks, and then for the next few weeks, a big difference. Yeah. And
what kind of differences are we talking?
You'd be
about?
much more livelier. The pains and aches went, and I'd be getting in and out of a lorry a lot of times during the day, and I pop in and out now, no problem whatsoever.
Right.
And to do anything isn't a chore anymore. You just go on and do it.
And what about in your head, John? What about emotionally and stuff? You know, do you feel better in your head about life?
Much better. There's nothing a big job now, whereas I'd be looking to have a helper with me, before.
Yeah. It's interesting, but you had put the symptoms down to just the aging process. Almost as if you were expecting this to be the case.
Different,
Yeah. So your advice to people out there then would be, particularly to men, and we're notoriously dreadful to go to the doc or go for blood tests or whatever. What would your advice be?
To go and as I did, to go and have it looked after. Yeah. Because to go and not even be thinking about, just go and do it.
Go and do it. But it makes all of the difference.
All of the difference. Yeah. And before, when I come in at night, when I would say if there was something on the telly, just start watching it. The next thing I fall asleep for maybe half an hour.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't happen. I can say watching television all night if I want to now, and I wouldn't even be tired going to bed.
It's an interesting aspect of diabetes that isn't spoken about very often, Muriel, but as I know, mid-afternoon can be dreadful if you're driving. I mean, you're so tired.
The eyes, one of the things that's massively counterbalance that is the water side. And people don't drink enough water because if you have diabetes, you're going to be weeing a lot, especially if the body's inflamed. So like if you're driving for 2 hours and you have to stop 2 or 3 times, then you stop drinking, don't you? So like one goes against the other.
Yes.
There's so many things like that, But like going back to John was actually up in Holy Cross and he saw, who was it, Ollie or Timmy?
Ollie,
remember Timmy was in with us here?
Oh yes, of course,
Yeah, and he actually saw him before this ever happened to himself. And actually said, Jesus, they all call him Delaney, do they? Do the boys all call Delaney, are they? Or do you call him by the first name?
I know Ollie as Ollie, Timmy is Timmy.
Yeah. But he actually looked down across, didn't you? And you said, Jesus, he's doing fierce well, whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that he looked well. But it's exactly the same thing as in he's doing all of this side and this side is working. But again, you can reverse, not if you're on medication, but you can put it into some form of remission, right? But what we're in here to say, I suppose, really is, and you said it to me again this morning, even looking at farmers, delivering stuff to farmers and stuff, they're isolated. There's a lot of people that are isolated and they don't go about it.
Yeah, of course.
John didn't go about it until he was 67. I don't know what would have happened, you, John, if you hadn't had to get the bloods done. For the lorry licence.
Yeah.
He was going to be in a serious state. Something was going to happen. There would have been a bang somewhere along the way. Age profile, etc., with everything that was there. So this is the bit that people, I think, don't actually realise. You have to get checked. You have to go. But if there's anything wrong at all in the body, don't sit on it. And I know it's a job to get a doctor's appointment, go into a doctor and get bloods done and stuff, but you have to say something to somebody, because all of this can be managed. And if you're doing the lifestyle side, and like we're talking about it again and again and again, and every single presentation, every lecture I go to, every upskilling workshop that I do, it's all coming back the whole time to lifestyle. It's literally try and get this bit. Even yesterday on social media, Fran, I put it up. I'm prescribing exercise. I'm literally prescribing exercise for people now because people aren't doing it, and I'm saying you have to do 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week of anything. Dance, cycle, swim, do whatever it is you want to do, but you have to do 30 minutes a day. Break it down into 10-minute increments, walk around the house. But something as simple as that and something as simple as drinking your make a massive change.
Now, if people are on medication, there's still a lot they can do to help themselves.
You have to. It's not even like you have no choice. Like if you want to live and be well when you're living, instead of the medication going up, like whatever meds you're on them for a reason. Your body was breaking down. So how is the medication going to stay at that level if you make no changes? Because your body was already breaking down, so it's going to stay going up. So if you start making the changes on the other side, you can either hold the medication where it's at and increase your lifespan, but you have no choice, Fran. I know probably you said Muriel's going to bring her to light today. This is probably 9 people that are listening, but it's hard for the first, 10 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, John. But after that, then it starts getting easier.
I would say about 10 days. And well, with me anyway, after about 10 days, I was in on it, and now I look forward to getting my own meal, it just all fits into place so easily.
Right, but of course you know then that what you're having is good for you.
It's good, yes, and you're getting the results.
Yeah.
But,
sorry, John, go on.
But now and then you'd be very tempted to especially eat a sweet now when you...
Would you?
You would, yeah.
What would tempt you most now? Would it be?
Eat a sweet after eating.
Yeah, like a dessert.
Nice dessert, yeah.
But you don't.
But I don't.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
90% of the time.
I knew he was.
He didn't tell me any of that.
I knew he was going to.
That's all news to me.
But of course, that is the thing. It's our notion of what is a treat for us. You see, we miss that.
And a treat is a treat. As in, it's 80-20.
Yeah.
Like any plan I will ever put anyone on. Yes, we nailed John to the cross literally for the first month or so because the numbers were so high and he didn't have medication. But after that, it's gone back then to 80-20. Like you can actually relax a little, as in, if you go out for a meal, enjoy your meal. If you want a dessert, you have your dessert. If you want a drink, you can have a drink. So you don't have to be perfect. Like life isn't perfect. But if you get the 80% right, that's enough to bring the numbers down. That's enough to keep you safe. That's enough. The longevity piece for me is massive, Fran. And it's not just longevity. It's like people are dying at 70 and 72 and they don't need to, in my book, as in we can get another 10 years, but not 10 years of being kept alive, 10 years of living. Like John is now sleeping all night. So John has loads of energy. And like he's even after talking to 2 or 3 others, like as in your family and other people that he feels need to listen. So that's like spread the word. It's like say, this isn't rocket science. Just,
And it might surprise some people. It surprises me to a little extent. Pains and aches, I didn't realise were one of the symptoms. But I mean, now that you say it.
It's inflammation. Yeah. It's inflammation. And like anything like that, the thirst, the eyesight, wean non-stop, all of these are not normal. Like feeling nauseous, heavy legs, all of these are not normal. And like you've microvascular and you've macrovascular with diabetes. The macrovascular is the heart-related side, etc. Microvascular is the eyesight and the nerves and all of that piece. Like your kidneys are affected. Every single system in the body is affected by diabetes. So if you don't control it or you don't manage it to some extent, everything like that is going to break down behind the scenes.
Michael was on to us from Clonmel. He says, I was diagnosed with diabetes the end of November 2024. Had a new doctor at the time, basically saved my life. I put the work in, lost 6 stone, changed my eating habits completely, went for walks, drinking only water, fresh lemon slices in it, eating fresh fish with green beans on toast, boiled white chicken. My diabetes has regressed completely. I feel like a new man. So, and again, I was thanking Dr. Grant there on Mary Street in Clonmel. She saved my life, says Michael. It's amazing when you meet the right person at the right time. It can make all the difference.
There's 2 things, Fran. You have to be ready, so you have to be willing to listen.
Yeah.
I don't know when people are willing to listen. Is it that the switch flicks to say, I could actually die here, that you get such a shock? Or do you want to, like somebody said to me the other day, she said, I'm actually living. I haven't lived for the last 10 or 15 years. Do you want to live? Right? And even when you go back to say what John was talking about with the food and stuff, when you actually start eating proper normal food, as we would say, like the 70 years ago food, your palate changes. So you actually get used to the normal, ordinary food, and that's the food you want. So if you went out for a meal, a lot of the time you don't even enjoy the meal to the same extent. So you start prepping and you start bringing the food. But what that man said there, Michael, the losing the weight,
Yes.
even like
6 stone.
5 kg can bring down your numbers, like your HbA1c, like by 1 to 2%. Like the smallest amount of weight loss can make a huge difference.
Yes.
But weight loss is crucial, and the weight loss is crucial. So that's like, as in, you can't go softly to lose
But
the
again,
weight.
John isn't a heavy man.
No, and that, you see, that's the other side of like the bodies that are actually slim that
Yes.
come in, and like they've high levels of visceral fat. They've things going on
This
internally
is inside. Yes.
that they don't know about. Yeah, but yeah.
Okay, interesting. If people want to talk to you, Muriel?
Yes, so it's 062 88 002.
Okay, very good. Well, we were delighted to see you, John, and we wish you well, but life very different for you now.
Yeah, it is very different. Much livelier and you know, like Muriel mentioned, going up the stairs.
Yeah.
I used to find it in recent times much harder. And now
you?
I can fly up and down. Yeah.
Well, that's great. It's a good news story for sure. John, good to see you. Muriel, thanks very much indeed. We'll take a break. We're back with more in just a moment.
Tipp FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage Puckon. Now is the time to pick up your next van. From the award-winning Peugeot Partner van to the Expert and the load-lugging Boxer van. We have big vans, high-roof vans, long wheelbase vans. You'll find them all at Slattery's Garage Puckon. See slatterysgarage.ie.